Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. So it looks like Chris is here.
Want me to send him an invite?
Yeah, send him another one and see if that's easier for him to get. Chris, can you hear us? Guess not. Hello?
Hello.
Yay!
Hey, sorry guys.
Oh, no
No
problem.
worries.
All right, let me get this other feed going, and then we should be able to kick it.
Cool.
Let's kick it.
What's up, Beer? How's work?
What's going on, bud? Work sucks. I need your job.
It's not too shabby.
All right, anything I missed because I'm just getting in, weather or lineups or anything important?
I haven't even checked the weather. I'm kind of running behind too today, so.
All right, I'll look at the weather right now real quick.
Sure to be a good show.
Baltimore looks nasty. About it. Baltimore, Texas looks pretty scary.
Okay.
Don't see that one getting played, to be honest.
All right. Looks like we're good. If you guys are ready, we can go ahead and try it.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna leave, count to 3, and then start. Ready? I'm leaving.
What's going on, guys? Welcome in. Sorry for the delay. I had a few traffic issues, so I hit some traffic on the way home. But we're here. We got 50 minutes of baseball talk. It's a limited slate anyway, so we have plenty of time to run through things. I am joined by my main man, Derek. You know him as Notorious. Derek, what's going on, brother?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just getting ready for the 4th of July. Pumped for that. Have some beers, barbecue, friends, family. It's going to be a good time. You doing anything fun?
Yeah, we're going to take the kids and do a little camping, so we'll see how that goes. Should be interesting, but looking forward to a little break. But let's focus on today. A Thursday, again, a limited slate, had a couple early games, but we certainly have, I think, 7 games tonight. One weather issue to update you guys all on. Baltimore is looking pretty questionable as of now, so I don't know if that game's going to get in. Again, probably too early to tell, so keep an eye on that. Looks like a lot of storms in that area. If I had to guess, I don't think they're going to play that game, so keep that in the back of your mind. Anything you want to cover, Derek, bring up, talk about before we dive into some business?
Not really. Nothing on the mind, so let's get into some baseball chat.
All right, let's roll. So we always start with starting pitching. To me, there's a big three here, so I'm sure we're on the same page with those three. Why don't you sort out who you're looking at, maybe on some different sites, if somebody stands out more than the other. Walk us through these three and your thoughts on them.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the big three tonight, and you also mentioned there is a weather scare in the Texas-Baltimore game, so I do think that maybe a little too risky to roll out Yu Darvish tonight, which is okay because Max Scherzer and Tanaka are both on the mound as well, and they're both a little cheaper on most of the sites tonight. The guy I'm really looking at is Max Scherzer. He's a little bit cheaper than Tanaka, facing a Rays offense that has been struggling to score runs all season long. Scherzer's averaging close to 11 Ks per 9 innings, and he's had 21 Ks over his last 2 starts. He's one of the bigger favorites on the day. I think he'll get some run support with Bedard pitching for the Rays. And I think he's a no-brainer, especially on single-pitcher sites. Tanaka, another guy, great upside. You know, he's been pitching. He really doesn't have any bad games. ERA close to 2 on the season. Great strikeout rate as well. Facing the Twins lineup that, you know, they can be decent at times, but they do strike out pretty often as well. So I got Scherzer slightly ahead of Tanaka, but what are your thoughts on those guys?
I'm going to go the opposite of you. I mean, I think they're both in great spots. So if you needed the savings on FanDuel, you needed to find a way to fit in some of these Dodger right-handed bats in Coors, whatever, I have no issue with Scherzer. I have Tanaka slightly ahead. I like the matchup a little bit better. Even though he's on the road, Minnesota, the offense is terrible. So I can see him going in there, racking up a lot of strikeouts. Scherzer's been up and down, hasn't been the rock that we saw last season. So, again, if you need to save, you need to find a way to get some more bats in. Scherzer is definitely my 1B to Tanaka's 1A. It's close. To me, though, I'm going to find a way to get Tanaka in there for 900 more. Darvish, as you said, rain. I don't think that game's going to be played. It's just my humble opinion from an amateur weatherman. So, again, keep an eye on that. Let's look at some mid-range or some cheap options. Not a lot of pitchers that stand out to me. Why don't you walk me through who you're liking if you're not spending on those big three?
As far as the mid-range goes, Sonny Gray is standing out, at least from a Vegas perspective. He's a pretty big favorite in a game that features a run total of only 7.5 runs. I know it's a Blue Jays offense that's ranked number 1 against right-hand pitching, but you know, he's historically pitched well at the Coliseum, and he's 8,400, not too bad. He should get some run support with Dickey on the mound for the the Blue Jays, not the Toronto Raptors.
NBA on the brain.
But yeah, I mean, I don't mind Sonny Gray, 8,400. Phil Hughes is one of my favorite GPP plays tonight. Everyone loves a revenge game, facing his former team at home. You know, he's had a great comeback season. I know he struggled in his last 2 starts a little bit. But this Yankees offense is down. They're not the same as they have been in years past. And I could see, you know, he would want nothing more than to come out and dominate and pitch a better game than Tanaka, who's a Yankees ace on the staff. So I think he's going to have a lot to play for tonight, and I love him as a GPP player.
Yeah, he's a good option. We just had a question in the chat. Is anyone scared off of Tanaka because the win may be in question, especially in FanDuel? You only get 1 pitcher. Certainly something to think about. I just like his upside in the strikeout department, so I'm willing to take that risk. I think you should as well. So I agree with you on Sonny Gray. He's about the best mid-range option, I guess. A little pricier than I'd like, kind of up and down. You know, some good games, some bad games. So we'll see. Toronto's a pretty good offense, much better at home, but they are on the road, so maybe Gray can hold them down. Cheap-wise, let's go to the value section. A couple guys I like. Let's see if you can read my mind here through some ESP. Let's see if we're on the same page.
All right, the 2 cheap guys I'm looking at, I like Brandon McCarthy and Matt Schumacher, however you pronounce it. 6,600 for Schumacher and 5,700 for McCarthy. McCarthy, his numbers aren't great on the season, but all the other pitching stats suggest that he's had a much better season than his ERA would make you think. He's coming off of a great start against the Padres, and 5,700, he's got decent upside. I don't mind him as a GPP play as well. And Schumacher, big favorite at home. Astros strike out the highest rate of any team against right-hand pitching, and he should get some decent run support as well. So I think on FanDuel for cash games, I think Schumacher's the favorite, or at least the favorite of those two. But I don't mind either of those guys. Who are your cheap guys you're looking at?
I'm with you on Shoemaker. I like the upside. You know, Houston's better than we've seen in the past, obviously, much improved. So it's not the automatic plug the pitcher against Houston, but I do think he's in a good spot. He's shown the ability to strike guys out. That's what you need. You need strikeouts, you need innings, and hopefully they don't have a bad inning, give up some runs. But the Angels' bat should be in a good spot as well, so that's always something else to factor in. If the offense behind the pitcher's in a good spot, obviously puts them in a good position to get a win. So he is somebody I like. I am not on McCarthy, so I get your argument, I get your point. We've seen the Pittsburgh offense get shut down by Cy Miley the other day, so it's certainly possible they can be held down. I know his surrounding stats. The peripherals all look better than what he's showing ERA-wise. I just don't trust it. I do trust a little bit, kind of. I'm trying to talk myself into trusting Vance Worley. So again, it's kind of the opposite. The peripherals and the batting averages and the WOBAs are all off the charts against this guy. For some reason he's getting fantasy points, picking up wins. So. Definitely a tournament play. I would not roll him in some cash games, but Arizona, another team, we've seen them go cold. They have some good bats in there, but a lot of average bats as well. So you can get around Goldschmidt, some of the guys in the middle of that lineup. Worley could put together a decent enough game to pay off his 5,500. So to me, that's all I see, though. I'm not going near Coors. I'm not touching Greinke. Could be a great contrarian GPP play. We've seen that play take down tournaments before. See Lance Lynn when he went in there and pitched a good game. So certainly a contrarian option, but I don't know that I'll be going that route. Anybody else you want to cover at pitcher? I think we nailed everybody on my list. Anybody else that you want to get out there?
No Franklin Morales for you, of course.
No, sir, not touching that. I don't care how contrarian it is. I am not going with Morales. The Dodgers, I love their bats tonight.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
That is a bold play. So if anybody out there is playing Franklin Morales, I want to see a link in the chat proving that this is true, because I do not believe it. I want to see it with my own eyes. So let's move on. Catcher. Kind of a struggle for me today. I didn't see a lot of things that stood out. Obviously, you have Victor Martinez at the top of the list, but you're going to have to pay for him. And if you're going to fit one of these pitchers in to get any of these kind of guys at 44, 4,500, the Kinslers, Martinez, Cabrera, a lot of the Tiger bats could be in play. Can you make it work, though, with these pitchers? So talk me through your catchers.
Yeah, I think Victor Martinez is your number one option to catcher, assuming he's in the lineup. He's been a little bit banged up, so we'll have to check that lineup to see if he's going to play tonight. But if you don't want to save a little money, I do like Brian McCann. He homered in yesterday's game, and he's taking on Phil Hughes, who, he's pitched better, but he's still a guy that you not necessarily have to, avoid all of your hitters against. So I do like him. He's sitting at 2,800, which is a great price for him. He's always hit right-hand pitching well. John Jaso, another guy, 3,000, going up against Dickey. Dickey's been very consistent of late, but he's been consistently average. He give up 2, 3, 4 runs a game, and I think the A's are in a pretty good spot tonight. Jaso's a guy that's always going to give you some kind of production, and at 3,000 on a night without many options, that's not a bad play.
Yeah, I agree. I like Jaso a lot. I think the Oakland left-handed bats are in a great spot. I love Brandon Moss tonight. Check the video of the day, and you'll see him in there in a prime spot for me. So catcher, though, is tough. I think we nailed all the names that I'm looking at. Robinson, Chirinos. So I always want to call him Cheerios, but I think it's Chirinos. Again, I don't know that game will be played if somehow the weather clears. 2,900 for him. He's been playing a little bit better of late. So he could be an option. And then Chris Iannetta is a guy with some power, been playing better of late, hits left-handers well enough. 2,900 is his tag. He's got hits in 3 straight games, so he could be an option for you as well in the late game. Besides that, again, I think Jaso's a good call. Maybe the Dodgers. Let's see who they plug in there. I'm assuming it'll be A.J. Ellis at 2,500, but you got Federowicz, however the hell you pronounce his name, 2,300. Drew Patera, 2,200. So that could be a cheap punt as well in Coors. Any other catchers? Because it's pretty thin, not much standing out to me.
Stephen Voigt, 2,500, another left-hand back going up against Dickey, not a bad play. And Miguel Montero, 3,200. I know you're high on Worley. I'm not quite as high, which is a rarity for us. We're tend to agree on everything.
Oh, not that high, no. Come on.
But I think the Diamondbacks are in a pretty good spot. Worley's historically struggled against left-hand batters, so I don't mind Montero at 3,200 either.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's go back to pitching real quick. Worley, so you're off him completely? Because I'm torn. I like him a little bit for a tournament, for a cheap play. In this field of pitchers, there's not a lot to choose from.
Yeah,
Worley at all for you?
No, I'm not targeting him tonight.
Right.
Like you said, the peripherals, they're all suggesting that he's gotten a little bit lucky. I think his BABIP is something like 229 on the season, which there's no way he's going to be able to hold that over the course of the season. So I'm going McCarthy in that matchup. It could definitely bite me, but I like his upside a little bit better.
All right, screw it. I'm going Franklin Morales. Your pick. Nobody better be on Morales. Watch him pitch with a complete game shutout with 11 strikeouts, but we'll see.
And then
yeah, catcher I think we're done with. Let's move on to first base. Guys, keep the questions coming. We'll try to get to them as we go along. Again, we got time. Not a lot of games to dissect here. One could be rained out, so we're down to 6 games. So if you got questions, throw them in there, and we'll kind of hit them as we go along, and we'll save last 5 or 10 minutes for questions. Maybe we'll wrap up a little early. We'll see how it goes. So first base, I already said I love Brandon Moss. He's my favorite play of the night. Price is right. The matchup's right. I like him even against Dickey. He's already taken him yard once in a small sample size, so he's shown he can hit the knuckler. Who are you liking at first base?
Yeah, I think it's Miggy, Moss, and then everyone else. Miggy, great matchup against Bedard. I know his numbers are down against lefties this season, but historically he's always crushed left-hand pitching, and he's a guy that can hit you multiple home runs. But I think for the price discount, I do think Moss is the best play on the board, especially on FanDuel. Like you said, great matchup against Dickey. All these left-handed bats on the A's should be in a good spot, and you can't argue with that price tag.
Yeah, it's again, can you fit these guys in there? It's going to be tough. I don't know. If you're going to go with a pitcher, unless you're rolling Vance Worley out there, baby, then you can load up on some Tigers. But going to be tough. You're going to have to pick and choose who's your favorite out of that bunch. Miggy's always on the radar. So a couple other guys, higher tier guys I like. Again, I think the Angels are in a good spot. Overholtzer's been all right. I know he's a reverse splits guy, blah, blah, blah. But I do like Pujols, C.J. Cron, a good bit tonight. And then let's look at a cheap guy or two. One that I like a lot, Ike Davis, pretty much minimum level salary, so he could be an option for you if you need some salary relief. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, you mentioned Cron and Ike Davis. Those are really the only 2 on my list. I had a couple other mid-range guys listed. Albert Pujols going up against Overholtzer, not a bad matchup. And as well as Adrian Gonzalez, I think a lot of people will be off him tonight just because it's a lefty-lefty matchup. But it's in Coors at 3,300. Who knows how long Morales will end up pitching into this game? So he could see a couple of at-bats against a righty. And he's been decent against lefties in his career. So I do like that play, especially in a tournament.
We're having a hair discussion in the chat, I see. Everyone's seeing if I have a perm or what. That's just work here. Hard working man out there sweating, out delivering your mail for you, and this is what the hair looks like when I lose the hat. So no perm, no relaxer. I need a beer. That's what I need. So we'll get to that later. Start kicking off the holiday.
I'm going bald, so that's why I need to keep my hat on.
They were saying that you might 8-inch mohawk under there, but proved them wrong. Is that a Lions hat or a Puma hat?
It's Puma. It's Thursday.
Okay.
Golf started today, so got to wear my Puma gear.
All right, I thought you were repping the Lions. I was going to say, come on, man. I think I'd rather be a Jaguars fan than what they put up with here in Detroit. All right, enough hair talk, I think. We can move on from that. Let's move on. Any other first baseman, or we hit them all?
What were your thoughts on Adrian Gonzalez before we move on?
Yeah, I like that play. He's hit lefties well in the past. Morales, again, I don't think anybody here is high on Morales. If you are, I think you're high on something else. Again, I want to see the proof in the pudding. Put it in the chat if you're playing Morales. But Gonzo, I think, is a good play. All the Dodgers should be a good play. I know there's the first game in Coors theory. We'll see how that pans out tonight against a horrible pitcher. If Morales throws a gem, I am a believer in that theory. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on, second base. Again, Kinsler's at the top of the list with all the Tigers. If you can make it work, I think it's a good play against a lefty. I like Howie Kendrick a lot tonight. Again, I'm pretty high in the Angels. So those are two of the guys that I'm looking at. I got a value play I like. But let's hear who you like at second base.
Yeah, Kinsler at 4,300 is going to be hard to fit in your lineup, but I do think he's the clear number one option today. Kendrick, like you said, sitting at 3,300 against Overholzer. Always hit lefties well. I think he's at least a safe cash game play. One guy that I'm looking at, Neil Walker, sitting at only 2,600. I know I talked about McCarthy earlier as a GPP play, but it's not like I'm going to be rolling him out in all of my cash games. And he's batting cleanup tonight at 2,600. Always hit right-hand pitching well. It's hard to argue with that value, especially if you want to get some of the other big names in your lineup tonight.
I'll show you my list here. You probably can't see it, but value play at second. Neil Walker. This guy's stealing my notes. Or great minds think alike, so we'll go with that theory. Al wants to know who's Emma's Purple Princess play of the day. I don't know. Not home yet, so I'll have to check back on that. I think Van Slyke's a good call there. She does know her stuff, so we'll see. I'll pass that along later. Walker, again, in a great spot, hitting cleanup, like you said. The price is right. Starting to get back into the swing of things. So if you need value, certainly somebody to look at, hitting right in the middle of the order. You can't beat the price. Any other second baseman, because, again, it's a position I don't see much beyond Kinsler at the top, Kendrick in the middle, and Walker as a cheap punt play, as they say. Any other second baseman out there?
D. Gordon, I like him tonight. Coors Field has huge gaps, so I could see him hitting a few doubles and triples in this series. Like we said, Morales isn't very good against batters from either side of the plate, so I do like him as more of a GPP play at 3,900. And Aaron Hill, again, picking on Worley tonight, 2,800. I don't mind him either.
You better back off Vance Worley, man. He's going to shock the world tonight. You heard it here first. Or he's going to get rocked, and I'll be hiding under a rock somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll see.
McCarthy will too, and then we'll both be hiding.
All right. I think we're done with second base. We are cruising right along. Again, any questions? Got some superstars in the chat as well, so throw them out there and ask whoever you want, and we'll get to the questions as well. Third base, who you got?
All right, third base. I really liked Adrian Beltre tonight, but like we said, that game could be in danger of getting rained out. So we'll skip over him for now. Other than him, I mean, you have Josh Donaldson at 3,500 against Dickey, but he's preferred against lefties, and he's only hitting righties at like a 305 weighted on base average this season, which you definitely like to see that to be a little higher for the price. Two cheap guys that I really like: Nick Castellanos, 2,600. Another Tigers bat, but this one comes at a discount. And Juan Uribe, 2,500. I think he's going to be a popular play tonight. It should be in the lineup in Coors. Great matchup and great upside for 2,500.
Yeah, I like Castellanos a lot tonight. He is in the six-pack, so a little spoiler there for you, but I think the price is too low on him. Again, he's a Tigers bat you can get for cheap. Get him in there, 2,600. I've been playing very well, hits lefties well, so I know Bedard has been decent. I'm still waiting for the Eric Bedard blow-up game, and I think it could be tonight here in Detroit, so we'll see about that. Good call on Uribe. In Coors, always an option. I'm going to pick on Brandon McCarthy. You want to go against Worley? I'm going against McCarthy. I'm saying Pedro Alvarez is the third baseman that you want if you're spending in that range. Again, I prefer Castellanos. Gives you some salary relief. Pedro Alvarez is going to take McCarthy deep tonight.
I'd like to say to target Martin Prado against Worley, but he's not in the lineup, so I guess I can't come back at you.
Any other third baseman? Again, Beltre is the top of the list, but again, that game is looking questionable. I think we both like Castellanos and Uribe. I'm on Alvarez. Anybody else?
No, I mean it's such a small slate that we're just going to give you our top picks and move on, I guess.
All right, we're moving on. Shortstop. Tulo, Hanley, you grabbing those guys? You going cheap? What do you think?
Hanley's injury does worry me a little bit. He pinch hit last night, but I'm not sure he's going to be in the lineup. They say he still might be placed on the 15-day DL. So, but if he is in the lineup, I don't mind him. I do think Tulo's a safer play though, 4,700. I don't usually target batters against Greinke, but in Coors Field anything goes, and Tulo's numbers at home, as we all know, are just incredible this season. So he's going to be my top guy, but at the same time, at 4,600, I think I might want to go a little cheaper at the shortstop position and then spend up, at first and in a couple of other positions where there's guys with a little bit better matchups. As far as going cheaper, I do like Elvis Andrus. Actually, once again, that's a rain game, so we'll skip over him.
Damn you, Mother Nature. Elvis Andrus, 2,300. Alex Rios, 26 or 2,700. Lots of value in that game. We'll see if it clears up. But Andrus it is for me if the game goes. Such a cheap salary. Stolen base threat. I know it's against a lefty, but he can steal. The bullpen comes in, racks up some steals, some runs. Hasn't been playing great. That's why the price is down. But I think he was certainly going to be a popular play tonight. We'll see if that holds true. Great point on Tulo. A lot of you don't want to target guys against good pitchers, but we've seen many good pitchers go into Coors and get lit up. So as you said, anything goes. I don't think Tulo's ownership will be as high as it should be. I think he has a good game tonight, even against Greinke. So if you can fit him, 4,700, fit him in. Besides Andrus and Tulo, not seeing a ton here that stands out to me. Again, the short slate makes it hard. A couple other guys that I do have some interest in would be Jed Lowry at home, and Derek Jeter's been playing pretty well lately, so I would take a shot on him maybe in a tournament. Anyone else besides those two, or your thoughts on those two?
Yeah, I do like Jed Lowry tonight. He's coming off a pretty good series against the Tigers, making great contact, had a couple lineouts, and 2,800. Once again, these A's bats are in a good spot against Dickey, so yeah, if you're not spending enough for Tulo, and if the Orioles game gets rained out, then I think Lowry's a good cheap option.
Had a question from FF Horseshoe. How much does batting order affect your picks? For example, I took David Freese last night, hitting 8th, and he jacked. Thoughts? I'd put some stock in it, but not a ton. If I like the matchup, especially if I like the team for that night, and I feel they're going to score some runs, they're going to run through the lineup enough times where it won't really affect where they're hitting in the lineup, I don't have a problem with it. It also can turn into a good contrarian play. Sometimes guys are hitting down in the lineup. It takes people off of them. You get them at a better ownership percentage. So those are my thoughts. If I like the matchup enough, I'm going to stay with them. If I'm torn between two guys, it's close. Maybe I put a little more stock in the batting order. Aim for a guy hitting, 3, 4, 5 if you can. What are your thoughts on that real quick?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. As a general rule, the best batters are going to be higher up in the lineup. So typically, there's not going to be a lot of guys in the 8 and 9 hole that you're going to want to target. But if you do like the matchup and if the play is right, then I don't mind a guy batting 8th or 9th if he's in the American League. So if it's in the NL, I don't like hitters batting 8 just because they can pitch around him and he's really rarely going to get anything good to hit and basically with the out, next up on deck. So it depends. AL's fine, but for the most part, I tend to gravitate toward batters higher in the order just because they're the better plays typically because they're the better bats. So those are my thoughts on that.
So we're on the same page for the most part. Had a question. Eugenio Suarez, Detroit shortstop, 2,500. What do you think there? I put him there with Jeter, with Andrus. Pretty good values. He's nothing. The ceiling isn't as high as you'd like, but he's 2,500 at shortstop. So your expectations can't be too high. Is he somebody on your radar?
Yeah, that's a perfect example of what we were just talking about. He typically bats 8th or 9th in that lineup, and he does have a good matchup against Bedard. So 2,500, good matchup, and yeah, play him. I like it.
New Generation 82 says he's having a hard time choosing between Scherzer and Tanaka. I think me and Derek are as well. We're kind of split on that. Again, my thoughts, if you need the savings, I got no problem with Scherzer. I have him this close. I prefer Tanaka. I like the matchup a little bit better. Tampa starting to hit a little bit more. Scherzer's been a little bit up and down. They both have a massive strikeout upside, though, so I don't think you can go wrong either way. Brad IZ Pro in the house from Detroit says he's going max. I'm calling that a homer play. Tanaka for me, but again, either way, I think you're good tonight. Thoughts on Eric Ibar from Tall T 411?
Yeah, I had him listed as well. I don't like that he's 3,400. I usually like when he's a little bit cheaper than that, but I don't mind him. He's typically batting right in the middle of that order against lefties, so I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I think it's a solid shortstop. I think you can get some good value tonight, unless you can fit Tulo. It's a little risky going against Cranky. I don't know that I do it in my cash games, but certainly a tournament play if you can afford it. FF Horseshoe says, shout out to Notorious for the first look, which is a great column, bro. I wanted to tell you, love reading that. First thing I check out in the morning. It gives you a good feedback of what's going on and an early look at things. So great work on that and the grind down. If you're not reading all Derek's stuff, you're missing out because he does a great job with that. But he says that and the six-pack are the only things that keep him awake at work. So glad to see that. Glad we can help out. So get out there and read all the great stuff on Grinders. Gonzalez on Houston at shortstop, question mark, from Asmodine.
No thanks.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think Shoemaker pitches a good game tonight. Gonzalez, there's not a ton of upside there for me, so I think there's some better options we've named that I'd go for. Although he has been playing better as of late, couple home runs in his last couple games, so there is some upside there. He's not on my radar, though.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Outfield, where are we looking? Dodgers obviously are in a great spot. You got Puig at a very, very, very nice price tonight at $3,800. I'm calling him the most highly owned player tonight on FanDuel at that price of $3,800. You got Kemp at $32. You got Van Slyke at $27. Let's start with those three. Are you on all of them? And in what order do you like them if you are?
Yeah, love all three guys tonight. I think if you're playing cash games, start your team with Van Slyke, 2,700. He's got a Woba close to 500 against lefties this season, and he's playing in cores. It's going to be hard to pass that up. Yasiel Puig, 3,800. Also, great matchup, and Matt Kemp. So I think you could honestly fill out your roster with those three Dodgers outfielders and just move on. But there are some other good plays. I mean, if you want to spend up, I do like Mike Trout. I think he's going to bounce back after disappointing last night against John Danks. A lot of people had him on some of the other sites, and he struggled mightily. But I think he's going to bounce back against Overholter. But at the same time, 5,800, probably a little too expensive on FanDuel, but he is priced down a little bit on some of the other sites. Yoenis Cespedes is another guy that I like, 4,000. I don't think he's going to be a popular play. Most people will target the left-hand bats in that lineup, but he's riding a career-high 15-game hitting streak, and he was nursing a sore hamstring, but he looked just fine yesterday. So I think he's going to be fine tonight, and I think he could be a great contrarian play in the outfield.
All right, you ready for a quiz?
Yep.
You like baseball?
Yeah.
You know baseball, right? All right, I'm going to give you a few players here, and tell me what you can tell about them. Vince Belnome from Tampa Bay hitting 6th in the DH spot against Scherzer. Go.
I don't know who he is, but I don't think he's going to do very well tonight. That's about all I can tell you.
Yeah, I've never heard the name, I'm going to be honest. And I follow baseball pretty religiously, but that name is, maybe I've seen it, but I don't know. This is a name I've seen, but I don't know a whole bunch about him. Cole Figueroa playing second base for Tampa tonight, hitting 9th. Does that name ring a bell?
Yeah, I've heard that name, but no interest in the daily fantasy aspect.
And who is Kike Hernandez? They're talking about in the chat. Another name, I don't know. I'm feeling old here. Like, these are the new hip names, and I have no idea.
Yeah, what about Kike? I don't know. Chat's going to have to inform us about Kike.
Yeah, fill me in on Kike Hernandez, because I don't know who that is. So let's move on. Lil Biz 2006 says Kemp's like Puig question mark. I mean, they're all in play for me. For me, it's Puig, Van Slyke, Kemp in that order. But I think they're all would be in my top 6, 7 in the outfield tonight. So I think it's very possible to load them all in there. Honestly, it's probably what I'm doing, putting all 3 of them in there and moving on. So the price isn't too bad on them. You can make it work with some of these big pitchers. So that's my thoughts. Soul Stealer says, isn't Puig dinged up? Does he have any injuries or anything?
I did see that in the chat. Let me pull up Roto World real quick.
All right, well, you're doing that. I'll move on. Skeeter1114 says he's a big fan of Rajay Davis tonight. Rajay's been playing good and always good against lefties. Some pop in the bat, some speed, obviously. So he's a guy, though, I like him when he's hitting more at the top of the order than at the bottom. It wouldn't take me off of him like we talked about. But if he's anywhere near the top of the order, bumps him up a little bit for me. Austin Jackson, 2,300. Also a good play. I think the whole Tigers outfield could be in play tonight. Even J.D. Martinez at his price. So he's been playing lights out. The Tigers are in a good spot. Soul Stealer wants to know, is this a racist show? Because we're talking about Kike Hernandez. I'm just going off of what's being reported here in the chat. So no racism here. I love everybody.
Sure, blame the viewers.
That's what we do, man. That's what experts do. All right, Goldschmidt or J.D. Martinez? What do you think?
I'll go with J.D. Martinez.
Wow, I thought for sure you were going against Worley on that one. I'd probably go Goldie. If you're talking price, though, Martinez, probably a bit cheaper, so depending on what site you're on. But probably Goldschmidt. Oh, we're going to get fired shortly. If we get fired, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. We'll see you in Vegas.
And we haven't even had any beer.
Yes, sir.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see. Kiki. Okay, so it's Kiki, not Kike. All right,
Oh, okay.
So they set us straight. See, we're learning something. I like it. Recent call-up on Houston and a good punt. All right, awesome. Arizona, sneaky stack. I'll let the Vance Worley hater handle this one.
Definitely a sneaky stack. Oh man, we're a mess today. Definitely a sneaky stack today. Like I mentioned, Worley, his numbers aren't going to last up as long as he's pitching the way he is. So I think it's coming. Stack the Diamondbacks.
Hater in the house. We'll see. Vance Worley is by no means a sure thing. So it's certainly a sneaky stack, no doubt about it. C-Red4 wants to know if we talked about A.J. Ellis, a catcher. Definitely, great punt. Coors is always a way to look for value if you're torn between some people. So I certainly agree with that. Puig is nursing a hip injury, so keep an eye on that. Are you guys avoiding Baltimore, Texas guys in cash games? As of right now, I am. To me, it looks nasty. Maybe we have some more professional weathermen out there in the chat that can handle this, but what I'm seeing, I don't think that game gets in. What do you think?
Yeah, the way it looks right now, I think I'll be avoiding it unless anything changes.
All right, let's finish outfield. I think we covered the Dodgers, but beyond that, I don't think we did much. Keep the questions rolling. If we miss you, put it in there, and we will get to you. Let's roll. And Dan, you're welcome. So we got Kike out. He doesn't have to go on Sirius and say Kike Hernandez. He got the pronunciation. He owes us a beer just for that in Vegas. Write it down. Talking outfield. All right, let's get back to business here.
All right.
Yeah, derailed.
We took the bullet for Dan on that one.
All right, outfielders outside of the Dodgers. Who are you liking tonight?
All right, I like Gregory Polanco, 3,300. He's just been a spark plug for this offense, and I know I do like McCarthy, but I like him as well. Going a little bit down the list, I do like a couple of these outfielders in the Rockies. Blackman and Dickerson. Like we said, Greinke's a good pitcher, but Coors effect could be in play here. Blackman's only 3,200. Dickerson is a little more expensive, I think, 4,200. So you might want to avoid Dickerson on FanDuel, but I do like Blackman, and I do think they can make good GPP plays tonight. Is there Anyone else you're looking at in that mid-range?
I think all Coors is in play again. I wouldn't avoid Colorado, like you said. Great for bringing that up. Yes, it's Greinke. Sure, Greinke could go in there and mow him down. Wouldn't be shocked if I saw that. Also, wouldn't be shocked if the Rockies get to him. So don't cross him off your list just because it's Greinke. I like the Pirates guys. I like McCutchen again tonight. Polanco had a big game last night, so he's certainly in play. You brought up Trout. I also like Hamilton. Hits left-handers well. I used him last night against Danks. It paid off. I think he's in a similar spot tonight. Again, Oberholzer's been the same type of reverse splits guy. He's not as bad as Danks, but same kind of guy. So don't cross Hamilton off your list. And the Yankees, I like Gardner and I like Ellsbury tonight. I think they're in a good spot, even against Hughes. I know some people are high on Hughes. These guys are familiar with Hughes. They've seen him. They were teammates. They know him. So could be a little bit of an advantage there. Value-wise, I think, again, Alex Rios is a tremendous value if that game goes in. Austin Jackson's a guy I like at his price point, and Van Slyke is a tremendous value, but we spent enough time on the Dodgers. So any other outfielders you want to bring up, or we can get back to sneaky stacks, snacks, and gold shit?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that rounds out my list. I like Austin Jackson, Rios, and Van Slyke is my cheapies. And yeah, maybe Torrey Hunter if he's in the lineup, 2,700. So.
All right, bad news for DB730. We have 15 minutes to be crazy and outrageous and talk about whatever we want. So let's go through questions, though. You guys have been great with the questions here. I'm going to go back up and see. I think we left off here with CS Maniac, Rajay Davis, or Gregory Polanco.
Assuming the prices are equal, I like Polanco.
I'm going to go Davis, but it's close. From TY on 401 says Kiki Hernandez, 77 games, hitting 336, 20 doubles, 9 home runs, 36 RBIs. Sounds good to me. So a 2K on DraftKings, that sounds like a pretty good value. Is Gregorius in play? He's hitting 8th for Arizona at PNC. So we talked about this. Let's put you to the test.
Yep. Well, it is a National League game. I don't really like taking batters in that 8-hole in the NL, but it's against Worley, so he's going to have at least a couple home runs, right?
Yeah, sure. I'm telling you, Worley, write it down. Ellsbury or Josh Hamilton? I would probably go Hamilton, a little bit cheaper. Again, I like the lefty-lefty matchup, but I do like Ellsbury a lot tonight as well, but Hamilton for me.
Yeah, for me, if it's a cash game, I'd go Ellsbury. If it's a GPP, I'd go with Hamilton. I think Ellsbury has a much higher floor.
Sports for Life wants to know if we're eating the special brownies today. Believe it or not, dead sober, no beers on board. That's probably what's going wrong here. Don't have a beer yet.
Yeah, I did mow my lawn, so the heat might have heated Josh.
There you go. We'll blame it on the heat. Moonlight Graham, love that screen name. Awesome. Congrats to you. That's a great name. Jordy Mercer at shortstop, question mark.
I don't mind it, but again, batting 8th.
Dunleavy89 says, how about Shoemaker for a contrarian? I'm assuming the pitcher, and I think we're both high on him. To me, the top option once you get below, say, the Sonny Gray level. Let's see. Ellsbury or Hamilton, we got to. Gold shit is Jewish, so double whammy for him on the show. El Guapo wants to know Colin Cowgill. I do like him. Hits left-handers extremely well. Generally hits right at the top of that lineup. So he's certainly in play for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely like Cowgill tonight. Only 2,500 on FanDuel. Great value.
Bottle Rockets or Black Cats? You a fireworks guy?
I like to watch them. I'm not a huge. I don't like to waste my money on them, but I do like to watch them.
I'll go Bottle Rockets. I'm amused by the sound like a little child when they take off. So I'll go Bottle Rockets. JD Martinez or Puig from Tall T 411?
Assuming Puig's in the lineup, got to go that route.
Daddy Biggs wants to know Shoemaker or Worley. Oh, putting me to the test here.
Yeah, for me that's easy. Shoemaker.
Shoemaker for me too. Again, Worley's the outside the box, cheap GPP play. But when he comes through, I expect a tweet from RG Notorious saying, "Good call." And when he bombs, I will send the same.
Yep.
Ownge says pick 5 is up if you guys want to run through it. So if you want to pull that up, we can certainly run through one while I go through some questions here. Call me dad in the house. It told everyone to take Polanco yesterday. Good call. Hopefully he does it again today. C Red 4 wants to know McCutcheon, Polanco, or Cespedes and Puig. I would probably go Cespedes Puig as long as I know Puig's healthy in the lineup, ready to roll. What do you think?
Yeah, Cespedes Puig for me too.
Zalep, that's tough. Zalep, Skiz, Smurf. Is there anywhere where you can see what percentage of players are owned on a certain site? I don't think you can see that until the game starts. So, or maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. So, we'll see.
All right, I got the pick 5 up. Do you want to go through that?
All right, I see Vance Worley is not in the pick 5. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, let's run through that, and then I'll come back to the questions, and then we're probably out of here for the day. So if you got any other questions, get them in there. Keep it PG, though, because we're on the ropes already as is.
All right, Max Scherzer versus Masahiro Tanaka.
Oh, my goodness. Of course they would do that. I'm going to go Tanaka.
All right. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take Scherzer.
All right. A rare disagreement here in the afternoon grind. Moving on.
All right. Next up, Miguel Cabrera, Mike Trout. Those are some good ones.
Oh, give me Cabrera.
Yeah, I'll take Cabrera as well. Ian Kinsler versus Brandon Moss.
Oh, man. Put me to the test. 2 guys I like a lot tonight. I will go Moss. I got to stay true to my 6-pack, so give me Moss.
Yeah, I like Moss as well. Next up, Edwin Encarnacion and Troy Tulowitzki.
I'm going to go Tulo on that one.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest one so far, at least. Coco Crisp and Gregory Polanco.
We didn't talk about Crisp, but I'm going to go that route, I think.
Yeah, I like Crisp tonight as well. He gives you that. Well, I guess they both give you the dual threat of stolen bases and homers, but I'll go Crisp as well. So we disagreed. I had Scherzer, you had Tanaka, and then we both had Miggy, Moss, Tulo, and Crisp.
There you go. Lock it in. Go win some money. And if you went Scherzer, you owe Derek a beer. If you go Tanaka, you owe me one. So hopefully we see all you guys out in Vegas. Come on out. It's a hell of a party. I am excited. I can't wait. All right, let's get back to the questions here, and then we'll get out of your hair, guys. So Call Me Dad is back, wants to know if we like Ike Davis at all tonight. I think he's a good play at minimum level. Again, you're not expecting a lot from a $2,200, $2,300 player, so I think he's a good tournament play.
Yeah, I don't mind Ike tonight, but at the same time, I think I like the McCarthy side of that matchup a little bit better.
All right, Sports for Life. Thoughts on Cron tonight? I like the Angels. I like Pujols and Cron. Pretty close, so if you need the savings, I got no problem with Cron. If you can fit Pujols, great. I think the Angels are in a good spot. You like Cron tonight?
Yeah, I like Cron as well. I've been swinging a hot bat and great against lefties, so he makes a good play.
All right, Phil is good. Wants to know Kemp or Polanco for GPP.
Since it's a GPP, I'll probably say Polanco. I think Kemp's going to be definitely a more popular play, so I'll go Polanco.
I'm going to go Kemp, but your point is valid. He's going to be popular. He's going to be highly owned. So if you're looking to go a little bit more contrarian, Polanco out of those two. FF Horseshoe's back, says, hey, Beer, seriously, only day I've been home early for Grinders Live in my office, listening on speakers. My 3-year-old daughter has said gold shit like 20 times. Yeah, definitely getting fired today. Oh, Horseshoe, my bad. My bad. Gotta go get a beer on board, and then I'll be back to normal. Let's see. Couch dance or champagne room? Wow, we are going off the rails here. That's all right. It's the day before a holiday.
Yeah. Nobody's watching. We're
fine. What do you say? Is the wife there? Can she hear you?
Dude, I've never been to a strip club, so.
Oh, there's the to-do list in Vegas. Let me write that one down.
Me, you, and your pops, we'll go.
There you go. Pops, love. Might have a heart attack, but he'd have a good time. Love you, Dad. Kendrick Polanco or Cowgill Kinsler?
I'll go Kendrick Polanco.
I will agree. Close, though. CS Maniac, Uribe or Calaspo? Uribe for me.
Yep, Uribe.
Your favorite site to play DFS on from Little Biz 2006?
For me, I've always been a fan of Draft Street. I definitely like FanDuel and DraftKings as well, but Draft Street's always been my main site.
FanDuel for me, baby. Been there for a long, long time.
Yeah, it seems like people tend to stick to the first site that they play on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you just, it becomes your home site. So we all play other sites, but I think where you started, where you got your start is kind of where you stick. Kind of find your niche, get used to the pricing, and so FanDuel for me. Neil Walker or Kinsler? I mean, without pricing, it's Kinsler, no doubt about it. I think the question with pricing factored in, I might go Neil Walker over Kinsler.
Yeah, I definitely think Neil Walker's better value. I think he's something like $1,700 cheaper. So. Take the value pick and load up on some of the other spots.
C-Red4 wants to know the best catching option tonight. Catcher is dicey, so I think V-Mart is clearly the top option if you can make it work. And then we were kind of split on our value plays. I think the Dodgers, whoever's in that lineup. I know Derek likes Jaso. I'm with him on that pick. So I think there's a couple ways you can go, but V-Mart for sure, top of the list. I think that's all for questions. Unless I missed something here.
Yeah, I think we got it all.
All right, guys, you got about 30 seconds. If you have another question, get it in there. Otherwise, we are going to sign off, turn it over to the next show. Again, keep an eye on the weather there. If I'm guessing now, that game does not get played, but we've seen weather look like an issue before. It clears up, but looks like it's going to be raining there, raining hard for most of the night. So I'm going to be off of that game as of now. But, again, you got 2 hours of shows coming up. Our great weather reporting coming up from Tim Roth closer to game time. So keep an eye on all that. One last question we'll take before we sign off. Moss and Polanco or C.J. Cron and Puig?
That's a good one. I'll go Cron and Puig.
Oh, I'm going to go Moss Polanco. But these are some good questions. I like this chat today. They are on it, asking the stuff, getting the goods. So good luck, everybody. Have a happy 4th of July. Have fun. Enjoy the family, friends. Be safe with the fireworks. Do not drink and drive. Have somebody drive you if you're out partying, please. We want everybody back here next week in the chat when we're back on. So good luck tonight. Good luck tonight. Any questions, always, we're both on Twitter if you ever need anything. Or, again, you got 2 more hours of shows coming up. I'm going to turn it over to Derek for any final thoughts.
Yeah, as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. It was a fun show. Dan, don't fire us. It wasn't our fault. It's a holiday weekend almost. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. If anyone wants to hop in, talk some baseball, MLB expert chat starts at 6 Eastern time, so hop in there if you're an incentives member, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys. Go gold shit.